18, putting for par. And, well, he has to tap in for bogey there, but he wins the RBC Heritage at 19 under, the first to win a major and the following week's tour event since Tiger Woods. In fact, the first to win the Masters and the RBC in back-to-back weeks since Bernhard Langer back in the mid-'80s. The last golfer to win 4 events in a 5-start span like Scotty has on the PGA Tour? Yes, none other than the aforementioned Tiger Woods. And the Schefflers still have not had that baby yet.
No.
I think the rest of the golfers better hope that they have that baby so he can take some time off.
Exactly. Hey, Nelly Korda also making some history. Got her 5th straight LPGA Tour win at the Chevron Championship. Coming into the final round, tied for second, shot a 69, birdied the par 5 18th to secure her second major title, joining Nancy Lopez and Annika Sorenstam as the only other player since 1978 to win 5 consecutive titles. And how do you celebrate 5 straight? Jumping in the water, of course. And she was on Sportscenter last night talking about her golf journey.
I would say a lot of roller coasters. There's been a lot of highs and there's been a lot of lows, but the lows have made me who I am today. And without them, I would not be, here right now holding this trophy or sitting next to this trophy. I'm so grateful for all the lows because it taught me what it was like to push through all the adversity that was coming at me and to dig deep and to train really hard and to just stay my course.
10 years ago, if I would have said you've been a pro less than 10 years, in the moment you got your tour card, less than a decade later, you'd be the #1 player in the world. What would you have told me back then?
That you're crazy.
Nelly with Zuba hinted.
I love that they've kept the tradition of jumping in the water, right? That they started back in the days of the Dinosaur. So it's cool. They changed the location, but still jumping in the water. And she does the post-game interview in her robe there.
That's cool. Yeah.
Nice terry cloth robe with all the sponsors on it.
You can see the history that she's making. She can set the record next week in the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Flash Pro if she wins again. And I think she just might.
I'm Eminem, this is Roger Goodell, and we are so fired up this year for the NFL Draft.
Live from the D.
You could just say Detroit.
That's what I said.
And you said the D.
Detroit.
Am I being punked?
The D.
Okay, that was good.
It was funny.
The NFL Draft just 3 days away. Jordan Reed's new 7-round mock draft on ESPN Plus has Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy going 8th overall to the Vikings after a trade with the Falcons, entailing picks 11, 108, and 129. By the way, he also has the Vikings making a second trade back from 23 to get 2 picks from Arizona. And now to our 2 Michigan men catching up before the draft, Shefty and J.J.
There's 4 top 10 quarterbacks, with the 4th being J.J. McCarthy.
The biggest question is going to be, what can he do outside of that scheme and system?
His film doesn't say he's a first-round quarterback. A lot of what he does doesn't translate.
You don't want him.
I don't want him.
There have been people who have said, J.J. doesn't get to throw the ball enough. We haven't seen enough. They question some of the production. What do you say to those people who question that?
You know, people forget this is the ultimate team game. Like, every one person has to do their job. And for me, stepping into this Michigan offense, I knew what I was getting. Coach Harbaugh has been running this philosophy since he was at Stanford, probably even USD, but I didn't even go back that far. It's, relying on the run game, using play actions, controlling the football, and trying to limit turnovers as much as possible. So I feel like just being a part of this system has prepared me so much for the next level because it's opened my mind to how to play the position differently. And all the outside noise is just, people that are looking at the stats.
Post-combine pre-draft process. A lot of visits, a lot of Zoom calls.
Yeah.
What stands out about that entire experience?
I would say what stands out is all the great people that I've met, and then being able to have dinners with them, sit down and have great one-on-one conversations with them and get to know them as human beings.
Like who?
There's a lot. You know, I just got back from Washington and New England, and Coach Mayo and Coach Quinn and, you know, Elliott Wolf and Adam Peters, just such great guys that, you know, I know that what they're building is something that I would want to be a part of. And, you know, you go to Minnesota, that Coach O'Connell, Coach McCown, they all worked me out, and it was just a really cool experience to get coaching points from them because it's so valuable. Whether I go to them or not, you have those, you know, nuggets to take with you wherever you go.
What would it be like for you to wind up in Minnesota?
It would be the world, just because Coach O'Connell, he's a guy that, you know, I'd run through a brick wall for. Obviously, being the NFC North, being a Bears fan my entire life, and being able to play at Soldier Field and stay in the Midwest and all that good stuff would be just a dream come true.
Could you be a Bears fan your entire life and then go play for the Vikings?
I can, yes sir. Yes sir, with smiles for sure.
Hail, hail Michigan. They are the champions of college football 2023.
Jim Harbaugh said that you were the greatest quarterback in Michigan history.
Mm-hmm.
He said you had the best pro day of any player he's seen.
Yeah.
And he says you are the best quarterback in this draft. What has all his praise meant to you?
Yeah, I would say if anyone's a little biased, it would be him. But he knows what he's talking about, and he's been around so many great quarterbacks, so it means a lot. It means a lot coming from him, and especially the ultimate Michigan man.
Thursday night, when you hear your name called that night by one of these teams, what do you think will be going through your mind, JJ?
Let's get to work. Like, I've been waiting since, you know, January 9th to just get to work again. And, you know, I can't wait to just, like I've been saying, this whole process, step out of the pond, jump into the ocean, and be amongst the best of the best. Can't wait for it.
He just comes across like a great kid, doesn't he? NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky, who called J.J. McCarthy's very first game.
Yeah.
Right?
I was openly questioning why Coach Harbaugh wasn't starting him as a freshman then as well. So
I love it. See, you know.
Yeah.
See, Dan the man knows. He knows what he's talking about. And there's so much tape on this guy now, especially in big games. You know, the run-up to the national championship. So let's break down what they consider the biggest game of all against Ohio State in November. What did we learn about J.J. in that one?
So he has a play in this game that's one of my favorite plays in all of college football. I just want everybody at home to once again see it. I think it's an example of what's one of my favorite traits of his, that he trusts his eyes. And I think he makes really difficult throws look easier than anybody else in this draft, okay? So here's the reason why I wanted everyone to see it and pay attention to it. You guys, everyone at home knows cause and effect. I want to go effect and cause. Okay, the receiver's going to be Roman Wilson. He's going to come from the left side of the screen and run this crossing route. I want everyone at home to pay attention to only one person, that linebacker right there, okay? You see where he is starting. He is starting essentially on that hash, okay? Now, that's the effect. Now, where does he end up when J.J. McCarthy makes this throw? Remember, he started on the hash. J.J. McCarthy's going to make that throw, and look where he is now. He started here, and he now, for some reason, has moved all the way over about 2 yards outside of that hash. Now, why did he actually get there? Because, Hannah, when J.J. McCarthy makes that throw, I think of two things. One, you shouldn't. And two, it should have been intercepted. I told everybody where he started as a linebacker and why he ended up there. Now, let's look at J.J. McCarthy's eyes, because he catches this snap and he's looking this way. J.J. McCarthy himself has said that he, off film study, knew that in this defense, if they got this play and he looked that direction, that this linebacker would have vision on him, try to pay attention to where he was seeing, and move with where his eyes were going. J.J. McCarthy purposely moving that defender from that hash to create a bigger window. And when you watch him make that throw, you sit there and go, that ball's going to be intercepted right now. But because that linebacker's movement purposely by J.J. McCarthy, it frees open that seam route, and it's a beautiful, very difficult throw made look easy by J.J. McCarthy. That's a very rare trait. I remember being with Matthew Stafford so often, and one of the things I would say is...
It all comes back to Matthew Stafford, by the way.
Why did you make that throw?
Right.
I can, you know, and I think there's remnants of JJ, or elements in JJ's game of like, that's a really difficult throw.
Yes.
And the fact that he knew exactly what that defender was going to do as long as he did that and cut that ball loose, that means he trusted his preparation, trusted his eyes, and fired it in there.
And just seeing him, even in the Rose Bowl when he didn't throw much, but when he had to throw, he made some big time.
Winning drive, right?
Throws. Yeah, perfect placement. Okay, we have some breaking news, Dan. I know you haven't heard it, neither has anybody else, but you'll get the first crack at this. So Rich Cimini is reporting that Zach Wilson has been traded. They were looking for a trade partner. They have found one in the Denver Broncos. So now Sean Payton will get a crack at trying to resurrect a career which has never really gotten off the ground. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, my initial thought is one, for what? I would imagine it's for...
We don't know at this point. We don't know those details.
A low pick, or maybe a low round swap. I think it's a really good opportunity for Zach Wilson. I still believe that there is physical talent there for Zach Wilson. I think that Zach Wilson is going to have to grow a lot with the two things that have held him back, and these were the same two things coming out of college. One, there was mechanical flaws in his lower half, and then two, panicking with the football. Now, Sean Payton is this coach that is very much so, this is how we play the position. 1, 2, 3, we're on time, and the ball placement in the 5-yard throw to 12-yard throw is paramount. 2 years ago, that is something Zach Wilson struggled with mightily. He can make the 30-yard throw downfield, but really struggled with those easy things. I still think that Denver is very much so in the run for a quarterback in the first round this year. I don't think this deters them, but it's a place for Zach Wilson to go to and try to see if he could rebuild the fundamental part of his game.
The Jets get a 6th-round pick. I'm just getting this information. And then the Broncos get a 7th-round pick. So we're looking at a very low-risk acquisition here. And you say there is a potential upside for Wilson.
Yeah, because he's still physically talented. He's probably more physically...